I welcome you all for today's session on isometric projection. And the problem which I am going to discuss is on this. A square prism base side 40 mm, height 50 mm is placed centrally on a rectangular slab sides 100 by 60 mm and thickness 20 mm. Draw the isometric projection of the combination. So initially what we have to check? We have to check whether it is a 2 combination or 3 combination. Here it is a 2 combination because one solid object is a square prism and another one is a rectangular slab. On rectangular slab, a square prism has been centrally placed. So right, so initially a representation, 2D representation has been shown here. So a rectangular slab has been the base part and above that a square prism has been placed. So you can see here a rectangle of 100 by 60 mm has been shown. Next, what is the height of that rectangle? 20 mm. So 20 mm thickness has been shown here. Next, similarly, a square prism of side 40 mm. This is 40 by 40 mm. And what is the height? Height is 50 mm. So this represents the front view of this combination of solids, and this represents the top view of this combination of solids. Right. So what we have to do? We have to draw the isometric view of this one. So initially what we have to do, we have to draw a horizontal line. Next, taking a 30-degree reference line. So one side should be 100 because we have to draw the rectangular slab, right? So one side is 100 and another side is 60 mm. So what is the thickness? Thickness is 20 mm. So what we have to do? We have to do the ISO scale, not the original length, right? So this side is 100 mm means ISO 100. ISO 100 means how much? 100 into 0.816 length we have to take. Similarly, 60 ISO 60 means 60 into 0.816 length we have to take. Next height is ISO 20 means 20 into 0.816 length has to be taken. Next, similarly from here the thickness length. Next, complete the corners. Next, here also ISO 100. Next, ISO 60. Thereby we completed the rectangular slab. Next step is what? We have to place the square prism, and that too it has to be placed centrally on rectangular slab. So what I do, from this corner to this corner I will join a line, from this corner to this corner I will join a line. Okay, so that I will get the midpoint of this top surface of a rectangular slab. So from this point I will draw a ISO 20 line upward, ISO 20 line downward. That line is parallel to the line which the rectangular slab, the 60 mm length is there, right? ISO 60, it will be parallel to that line. Next, similarly I will take a line, I will draw a line of ISO 20, ISO 20, and this line will be parallel to ISO 100 mm line, right? So we got a plus mark, right? So similarly from this point ISO 20, ISO 20, right? So here also join it, ISO 20, ISO 20, ISO 20, ISO 20, ISO 20, ISO 20, so that the base of a square prism has been obtained. Next, from the midpoint, a line has to be drawn upward. That line length will be ISO 50. This is 50 mm, right? So ISO 50 mm line I will draw. So that point will be here, ISO 50 line. Similarly, the same concept has to be done because the square prism has top face and bottom face. So bottom face we have completed. So we have to complete the top face. So from this point, a line will be drawn. So 20, ISO 20, ISO 20. Next, ISO 20, ISO 20, right? So similarly ISO 20, 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 ISO 20 length, so that this top face will be completed, right? So next what we have to do, we have to join all the corner points from here to here, next from here to here, from here to here, and the line which is coming from this corner to this corner will be hidden line because it is it cannot be seen when we see in this direction. What happens, that line will be hidden, so don't represent it by visible line, just represent all the lines with visible line, and whatever the line which is been cut, I mean when the prism is been placed, the lines which is there at the rectangular face at this particular region will be hidden. So trim those lines or mark it with hidden lines. So can you see here, so these lines have been marked with a thin line representing it is hidden, right? So this is how the problem has to be solved. right? Now I will explain how to draw it manually. Initially on isometric sheet, a reference line has to be drawn. Yes, reference line has to be drawn. Next I will select this as the initial point. From here I will count 10 boxes because a rectangular slab is having 100 by 60, right? So 100 mm, 100 ISO 100 and ISO 60 has to be marked. So 10 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the 10 box, right? So we mark 10 box. You can count here once again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next 6 boxes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Next, what is the height? Height is ISO 20. So 2 boxes 1 and 2. Yes. So next, once again 20 here, 2 boxes. And from here 2 boxes. Next from here to here I will connect, from here to here I will connect. Next again ISO 100, 10 boxes. So it will come up to here, right? So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to here. Next join it. You can see here a rectangular slab has been placed of ISO scale, that is 80. This is ISO 100 and this is ISO 60 and this is ISO 20. Okay, so because it is a solid object, I will represent this. I will represent this with solid line, dark line. So mark it a little bit dark, right? So next what we have to do, we have to place a square prism, right? Now from the corner points from here to here, next from here to here I will draw a line so that I will get a midpoint of this top surface of a square slab. Next from here I will extend a line. Before the extending the line I have to create the base of a square prism, right? So for that I will take 40 by 40 plane. So from here to here I will take 2 box. Next from here to here 2 box. Next from here to here 2 box. So that 40 ISO 40 line we have got. Similarly 4 box this side. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Next similarly from here 4 box. 1, 2, 3, 4 and join it. So that is how a base of a square prism has been drawn. Next, to get the top face of a square prism, we have to count once again 5 boxes because the height has been given as 50 mm, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the top point where the plane has to be drawn. Same concept has to be taken. So before that, draw 20 mm downwards. 20 mm downwards. From here you count 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. The procedure are one and the same. Similarly from here 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 boxes. Next count 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next from here to 1, 2, 3, 4. Next from here to here 4 box. So we got top face and bottom face of a square prism. Now I will join the line from this point to this point. Next from here to here. Next from here to here. Next whatever the line that is going from here, that is connected here, that will be hidden. So represent the lines, these lines, because it is an object, right? The object should be represented by visible line, so represented by darker line. And we know that whatever the line that is covering the rectangular slab should be trimmed off to indicate that the prism has been covered those lines. Okay, right? So just trim the extra lines, I will just trim it off, not necessary of keeping. I will just trim it off. Yes, this is how the representation of a combination of solids of a rectangular slab and a prism, square prism has been represented. And the angle between this reference line and here, it should be 30 degree. From here to here it should be 30 degree, and this line should be visible, right? So you can see here the rectangular slab has been placed on that, a square prism has been placed. And how it has been placed? It is placed centrally on the top surface of a square slab in a rectangular slab. So this is how we have to draw it manually. Now we will learn how to draw it in solid software. So initially we have to draw a reference line. Next, a rectangular slab has to be drawn, right? So one side is, what is the slab sides? 100 by 60 mm. So one side I will take as 100 mm and at an angle of 30 degree. Next, another side is 60 mm. The angle is 150 degree, right? So that the angle between the reference line from this side to here, it is 30 degree, and similarly from here to here it is 30 degree, right? So next, what is the thickness? The thickness is 20 mm. So type 20. So here we are not taking iso scale. Whatever the dimension is there, we are taking. And finally, when the combination of solid has been drawn, finally we will select whole thing and we will reduce to scale. So this is 100 mm, this is 60 mm, and this is 20 mm. So similarly from here to here, 20, 20. Next, join the lines, join the lines. Next, similarly from here, 100 mm and at an angle of 30 degree. Next, complete the line. This line will be 60 mm length, right? So this is how the representation of a rectangular slab has been made. So next, what we have to do, we have to place a square prism of side 40 mm, right? Of height 50 mm, and it should be placed centrally on this rectangular slab. So for that, so now I will select a line and join from this corner to this corner, from here to here, so that the midpoint of a top surface of a square, rectangular slab has been obtained. So on this top surface we have to place a square prism of side 40 mm. So what I do, I initially draw a line of 40 mm side at an angle of 30 degree. Yes, similarly here 40 mm at an angle of 150 degree. Next, height also 40 mm. Yes, next similarly 40. Here also 40, because a square prism, right, which is having all the side 40 mm itself. Next, join it. So use the move option, select whole thing. Just move it here and make sure that it is represented by visible line. Whole thing should be of visible line. Yes. Now we have to mark the midpoint of this base plane. So for that, draw a reference line from here to here, from here to here, join it, from here to here, join. So we got a midpoint, right? So this is the midpoint, and we have to place whole prism in such a way that this midpoint will be lying on this midpoint. So use the move option, select the prism, select the midpoint, and place it at this midpoint. So this is how the prism has to be placed, and when the prism has been placed, the side of a rectangular slab will be having hidden, right? Some of the portion will be hidden, so that has to be trimmed off. So select a trim option, trim it off, trim off the lines which is hidden, and extra lines also you can trim it off, not necessary. Yes. So this is how the representation of a combination of two objects, that is one is rectangular slab and another one is square prism, right, which has been placed like this. Then finally what we have to do, we have to convert this into isometric scale. There is an option here, scale. So select whole thing and you can see here the scale has to be reduced to 0.816, right. So you can see here the whole thing has been reduced to iso scale. So this is how you have to represent the isometric projection of the two combination solid object. Okay, thank you.